This is a first of its kind analytic, like a workshop that we're doing for certain parts of the product. Okay. Okay, amazing. It's the first workshop of its kind when we cover more details with more like hands-on focus rather than just a high-level demo, because uh, this workshop idea came from the user voice thread that most of you probably were part of. To the ones who are new to Atera and maybe joined this session just because they saw the webinar on our website, our user voice is our platform where we collect users' feedback. In one of the threads that was present there with a lot of traction there was dedicated to analytical reports. Apparently, it's one of the um, most interesting parts of the product. However, it has a learning curve. And this is exactly why I am here today. My name is Dima. I'm the technical product marketing manager at Atera. I worked for Atera for the past 2.5 years. Previously, I was in professional services, and my job was to, and still is, to make customers aware of how to use the product, what you pay for, and how to use it, get the benefits, get the ROI, and all the good stuff. Because at the end of the day, if we cannot measure how we do our day-to-day jobs, there's no point to have the tool which is not capable of doing it. With that being said, this is exactly what we will dedicate time today, and we'll discover in more details what analytical reports have to offer, and how are they any different from the basic reports that some of you might be having. And maybe you came here today because you're curious that, for instance, like in your subscription, they're either not visible at all or just view only, and maybe you're considering that maybe it's something that might be interesting for you. Without further ado, please allow me to share my screen, and let's start with a little bit of presentation. Okay, I introduced myself, so won't keep you any further. I'm the Technical Product Marketing Manager. My name is Dima, and I'll be presenting for you today our today's agenda. So introduction is done. So the reports and Atera, what's the difference? Because we have two types which are present inside the product. We'll spend most of the time in the demo part, in the environment, but it will not be the typical high-level walkthrough. It will be focused around the details that um, more often than not are missed by many customers were going through the implementation process, the onboarding process, the re-onboarding process, because we offer this for existing customers. And what we learned so far as a professional services department, and what actually causes friction, prevents our customers, of course, all of you included, um, to the group of people who are hesitant to start using it or like in their day-to-day work. Okay, so to answer your questions that you might be having, so the recording will obviously be sent to you after the session is finalized. It will be done in the next 24 hours or so. We invite you to post your questions into the Q&A tab, which is right next to the chat button on the right-hand side. And survey might not be the thing this time. It's just a generic slide, but still, if you want to know even more, or you're considering maybe your plan does not allow you to do what I'm about to showcase, but we offer temporary trials for a higher plan, which you can try absolutely at no cost. And for this, you can just push a button and request a demo. So your customer success manager, customer experience manager, and account managers will be responsible for taking it further. And then you might be ending up talking to our professional services who will help you to get into even more details and get the data you need. Okay, the main event of today's session, reporting in Atera. So as I said, we have two kinds. The one is called operational reports. Before we even begin, so operational reports and analytical reports. Operational reports exist in Atera for quite some time, and as written on the slide, they are made by us, and they were designed some time ago, and they are pretty much hard-coded, and they were designed to support the one-size-fits-all use case. However, they are not as flexible as analytical reports. This is exactly why analytical reports were introduced several years ago. So, as I said, they're built in. They are based on a predefined data chunks that are available in those reports. They are mostly for tactical needs that you might need in your day-to-day IT work. Doesn't matter if you're an MSP or an IT department. They might be slightly different. MSPs will also see the section in operational reports, which is called profitability. And IT departments will not be seeing this part because profitability is mostly dedicated to a billing component of Atera, and if you have any products that you charge your customers for. So, as I said, very limited customization because they're all baked in. Yes, you can filter by date. You can filter out some data here and there. However, the filters are not customizable, and it feels like it's all of those reports are one-trick pony of sorts. But they're designed with a very tactical purpose in mind. So they have a positive trait, though, that some of the reports are actionable. For instance, the patch search and deploy will allow you to find devices which are missing certain patches and allow you to install those patches at scale. However, this functionality has been also replicated in patch management dashboard, from where you can install software patches and also check the statuses. And also it looks nicer. And also it's more relevant to Terra development, which is like was built after assessing many customer use cases to take it one step further from what we used to have. Operational reports can be scheduled. However, you need an IT technician account to be the target audience for this report, which is a limitation. And no option to change the report format because, yeah, there is no customizations for the exported report. And yeah, if you want anything that is third-party data that you might be needing to import from elsewhere, this is unfortunately not doable with this type of reports. And this is exactly where analytical reports come in. Analytical reports is something that is completely different because, as you can see, even though they're also like built into Atera by us, by our wonderful development team, by our enterprise grade team, uh, they are powered by Looker, which is a BI from Google. We don't have the classic Looker Studio experience. We have the so-called Looker embedded version, which is basically an iframe of Looker with certain functionalities with slightly modified UI, because this is how Looker provides it to us. And this allows us to fetch more data, make it extremely customizable, and whichever data or event exists in Atera, it can be fetched directly from our data warehouse to be made as a part of the report. So exactly what I said, it's an embedded version of the Looker BI. It's built on data sets. However, those data sets can coexist in the same dashboard because the smallest unit in analytical reports is a tile. And uh, built on tiles, and tiles in the same dashboard can belong to different data sets. And you can build a dashboard to rule them all. Basically, you can combine the ticket data and the hardware data and the software data, and maybe even your security posture. Even maybe you're trying to do a quick security assessment if your security product is installed on all the machines you're working with. This is doable in analytical reports, but you need to have at least tier 3 subscription, which is master or power, respectively for ITD and MSP, and superpower for MSP or enterprise for ITD, to be able to build and customize it to in the best way possible. Because as you can see on the screenshot, the presets are available starting from tier 2 subscriptions that we're having, and explore capabilities, which is basically the ability to create those custom reports, exists only on tier 3 and up. Each data set exposes huge amounts of data. just devices data set alone includes 600 plus fields, and this is exactly what I answered on user voice. It's not possible to list them all just because the answer will be too long, because there are like different functions, different parameters, different date filters, and many things that is very hard to expose in a text format. However, in the UI, it's more doable. We'll see this in a second. They're super customizable. There are different kinds of filters. You can have simple filters, checkboxes with multi-selection, uh, button-like filters, logical filters, and it gives you extreme capability to actually put it to go use and make the report exactly the way you like it. Um, So with the ability of like, it also has a capability to be auto refreshed, which makes it, if you have a secondary screen and you want to have something as like on a side monitor of sorts, and you can just have a tab that is always open, um, you can put it on a like on a screen on the TV on the wall, and it will be just there, and it will be auto refresh itself. And more on that, yeah, the refresh rate for each and every tile can be also customized, which is not doable on operational reports. It has extremely flexible scheduling, meaning that it can be any person with an email, regardless whether it's a business email, personal email, can be a Gmail. You can preload the report before the export with certain filters. You can redo this infinite amount of times. So if you want to send it to 20 customers, you can do it for 20 customers, and they will see just the information for their or your customers, or maybe your sites. Each site and each customer will see information exclusive to them. Uh, Also, the information can be customizable. The output formats can be customizable. It can be a PDF, it can be a CSV, it can be a JPEG for easy presentation copy paste. And each and every tile has even more customization possibilities. You can even send it to your BI specialists if you have those in your organization, and they can utilize the JSON or Markdown formats to inject it into your BI tools, which you use like externally outside of Atera, to combine the IT data with something that has to do with budgeting. Uh, you name the use case. Um, so as I said, the configure refresh cadence, which has something to do with a TV on the wall. And option to blend in third-party data using API calls. Um, so this is something that is possible through utilizing the custom expressions that we offer inside Looker BI. This has a little bit of a skill gap, and it has a bit of a learning curve to go through. However, it's very similar to SQL expressions, and if you have a person who is capable of doing it, or maybe you are using any of the AI tools out there, which can help you to architect your custom expressions and maybe calculate something that is totally custom and specific to you. On top of that, uh, yeah, we saw some cases, for instance, like a person was injecting the data from his ERP system to a repository, and from this repository was initiating an API call to populate the cost of the laptops in his organization to measure how much money does he have in all the laptops he has in his organization, which actually is an edge case. But I mean, many companies can benefit from such information or such knowledge that they can put it to good use too. Without further ado, let me switch gears and go to the Terra itself. And instead of doing the regular demo that was historically done on on the webinars for like when we're talking about analytical reports, I want to focus around the knowledge which is usually shared during the professional services sessions. In it's The intention is to make you knowledgeable about the UI specifics, so you can make the first steps. Because usually the science, it's human psychology, is that the first steps uh, are the most complex ones. And also, when you hear about something for an hour, it takes an hour or two to learn it if you learn by doing. And the BI tools are nothing else but the kind of software that actually only benefits from this. Okay, So operational reports, we talked about it. Analytical reports, as I said, tier 2 will have just the presets with no ability to create your personal reports, and this will be all masked. However, the reports down, the videos down below will be available to everyone. Those are the short videos to give you very, very basic knowledge. The good news is that whenever you start having the analytical reports, you will see new buttons in UI. You will see this plus sign on the left, and you will see the ping button on the right, which will basically allow you to select what type of report you're trying to work on. Okay, so and you will see 3 consolidated data sets, and you will see use case specific data sets. Um, we squeezed down the amount of data sets to make it more attainable. In the We'll talk about this in a second, how you can blend the data sets. But I would like to start us with something else. So because on user voice, the thread was dedicated to hardware inventory, we can actually go in and start doing something with a preset report, because sometimes we don't start from scratch. Maybe one of the preset reports contains exactly the information you like it, however, you want to add something to it. But as soon as you go to analytical reports and you end up on this screen, and you will see the report which is loaded, and then what? In a nutshell, can click on the 3 dots, and if this report was yours, you will, under the clear cache and refresh, you will be able to immediately see the edit dashboard button, which is not the case on this specific screen. Why is that? Because the presets are basically public knowledge. They're just preloaded with your tenant Atera tenant ID, and this is how it makes all this data to be your tenant specific. And it's not bypassable. However, as soon as you want to make the report yours, because from here, you will see this compass icon. You can study how it's made. It applies to each and every tile, and you can download the data, you can clear the cache and refresh, you can expand if it's expandable. But when you try to click on Explore from here, even with like all the folders side menu not collapsed, you will find something very interesting. When you will try to save incremental changes, you won't be able to. It's designed for a slightly different use case. It's designed for some, if you find something that is already built, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The logic behind it is to make you able to, frankly speaking, steal what you like and make it yours. As you can see, to an existing dashboard as a new dashboard under the save button. So how to make incremental changes, how to make it all yours, and why there is such a limitation. Because these reports are all embedded into UI. So we go to share reports. We click on these 3 dots on like hardware inventory. We click make a copy. We select the target folder. I will be using my folder, which will be visible just to me. If I'm working on something, I don't want to embarrass myself and expose it to my team. Ian, yes, this is recorded. It will be shared. No worries. We got you, and we'll do probably a session on top of it. So as you can see in my folder, the dashboards now, the copy here shines bright pink. As soon as I click this button, it allows me to start having my own copy. And I click on the hardware inventory, and you will immediately see, if I click on the 3 dots, my menu is now bigger than it used to be. It also allows me to, and as you can see, since the report is now mine, I can move it to trash, I can add it to the dashboard, I can download it, and like, yeah, same buttons exist. However, you start to see 2 new ones. Okay, if I start editing the dashboard, in every case, you will see the hyperpink, this is our corporate color, hyperpink menu at the very top of the page, which will basically be a signal that you are editing your dashboard. It's not possible to edit a preset, as I said. And as you can see, the icon which used to be compass now looks like a pencil. This allows you to edit a single tile. And also, the most important, now you see the save button, which is also in bright pink. And you can customize the tile. I will unfold it in a second. You can customize any tile the way you like it, change the data visual representation. You will be able to see all the fields that you can add to it. You can make it yours. And as I said, just the devices data set alone has more than 600. Apparently, it's above 700. It used to be 698 back like a couple of weeks ago. Now it's 705, probably because we've added certain functions or maybe certain calculations which were requested in support tickets, and maybe like customer success managers requested something to be added, and we have a dedicated BI team who add the fields that don't exist. The beauty of your ability to customize something starts with the UI of this, because as I said, 705 fields, not possible to display in an elegant way. And this is why pro tip number one, absolutely non-negotiable, start using the search field. Why is that? Because if you type in the word device, you will see an insane amount of fields, and some of them have even a highlight already because they're used for calculations. Okay, and I'll explain the color coding. So the device can is by like any field is by default has black color. As soon as you select it, it starts to have a highlight in. Let me. Probably not this example. Let's try something else. Yeah, the detailization will be better. So as soon as you see in use, you can see how each and every tile is built, and the blue tiles mean that they are used as fields. You can do the pivot function, which is basically transforms the column into a row. And you can like imagine you have like 20 devices on a single site, but you want to compare the devices head to head, and you want to do the CPU to CPU to CPU all 20 times, then like memory, then free space, amount of hard drives, and what have you. So this is when you use the pivot data. Filter function, you can use the data field, you can use it as a filter, which exists here. So as soon as I click here, agent name will display the same field value that I'm already using, but it will display it as a logical filter, which can be contains and each and every logic function that you can find in any BI, Excel, SQL, and you name it. You can add more filters here, and you can also add a custom expressions to filter in a very sophisticated way. And as soon as you add in custom filters, when you start typing, you'll start to see the bits and pieces of syntax. To understand this, more in-depth, to get the more in-depth knowledge, you will see the help plus syntax reference here. This will lead you to the Looker. Oh, sorry, I'm displaying just one tab. Apparently, let me stop sharing and share the browser. There it is. Amazing. So what I was showing is that as soon as you click on the help plus syntax, it will show you the looker functions and operators, and you will get to the access to full library of the expressions that you have access to. However, pro tip number two, that each and every field in Atera might be different from general practice. And if you're using any type of AI like assistant that will help you to write the general function or a custom filter, it will be using the Looker Studio values. And every time you will try to copy paste it and do basically an easy win, well, it will end up with an error with a function, and it will not do what it's supposed to. However, right next to the filter, you will see the eye icon. It's an information, and this is where you will find the value of the field, how we see it on the back end. Okay, so basically, it's a good segue into back to the topic that whichever event or data value that we capture inside Atera is available in our data warehouse will be available here too. And so basically, if you use the name of this field and it will tell your AI assistant of choice that, okay, write me a custom filter for embedded looker. And these are the variables which I used for this and that. And this will do just fine. It will be 99% ready in most cases. And there might be minor syntax issues, but This is just part of the package. Unless you understand how the SQL related commands are written, queries are written, and you can do it yourself. However, as I said, whenever you're having the top subscription, you get the professional services assistant that will help you to build custom things for you, which and this is something that we offer. Okay. What else? And also you can see that you can certain values can be aggregated, they can be grouped, and it can be even more than this. The second, right below filters, I collapse them, the visualization. This is how you will see the data once it's displayed in the report. So right now it's a table. It can be a bar chart, can be like swim lanes, scattered plot, and there are like 12 ways to display the data. However, if I will try to do that like a single record, well, not very valuable because I will need the filter to filter by device because right now I'm looking at devices at scale. And we'll talk about this in a second. So right down below, you will see the data. This is the backbone of your report. So this is exactly where you attach fields to, give or take away the values, and you're trying to like create the spreadsheet of your dreams, which will have all the data that you need to be sent to someone or to be part of your report. And if you will try to, for instance, like delete the agent ID field, you can do an incremental change. It will take effect immediately. And as you will see, the agent ID will not be displayed. But let's do something and imagine that you now like this style and you want to reuse it, and you can actually duplicate this style, and if you want to reuse the data but change the visuals, or if you want to transfer it to another report, you hit edit and you add it to a new or an existing dashboard, because you can reuse the same tile over and over again when you're trying to build a report which works. Speaking of the reports which work, so one of the reports that I've built, and this is one of the topics that was discussed, was pretty hot topic before October 2014, 2025, Windows 11 assessment. So uh, I will show you the hardware distribution in a second. As you can see, I have upgraded it to a certain extent. However, I wanted to show you the capabilities that you can do. For instance, you're trying to teach your team how to use the reports, or you build something and it needs explanation. You can always add a disclaimer, how this report is built, what is it for, and it's very easy to do. You just click on the three dots, click on Edit Dashboard, add text, or a Markdown file if you want to. It can even be a button. For instance, like this report is dedicated to our laptop's inventory too, and you can create a button that will send you directly to the ERP system to log in and see something else there if you're trying to monitor something that is in your stocks or in your stock, in your warehouse or what have you. So and the visualization is basically any tile that you can create. As soon as I hit visualization, it first will ask me to use a data set, and as soon as I use devices, it will give me the same editing window which we already have seen. And this will, by default, will have the incremental changes save button, and we will be able to build something from scratch. What I would like to encourage you. So whenever we are starting to create a report, I would suggest us to start simple and start with spreadsheets, because it's the simplest form of a report. And to demonstrate how I built this specific one, I would probably go to click on Add Visualization, click on Devices, and it was a hot topic that in our user voice thread, that we don't display data A, B, C, like the vendor of the laptop. We don't display something else. The good part is that we actually do display it. To demonstrate, let's build the tile from scratch. Let's imagine you're creating a company-wide. I will use the site name. MSPs will have the customer name. So it's the first column. You need to click once. You click on agent name. Also click once. And if you hit run, you will immediately see the list of the sites alphabetically sorted, and you will see all the devices. And probably the bar chart is not the best way to display it. Yeah, and now we see each site and all the devices that we are having. Let's imagine a situation you just want to count all the devices for a given site. You just delete the name of the agents and if you hit run, you will be just left with the sites that you're having in your tenant. And then, and as you can see, you can then go to type in the word count. In the device, you can type in count, and you will see, and you will, as soon as you hit run, you will see the number of devices per site. And as you can see, it calculates because it now doesn't care much about the specific size, but it calculates by default the number of those devices. And if you click on any of the swim lanes, you will drill down into which ones, which is extremely helpful. And more important, it's downloadable and it can be exported, as I said, in JSON, CSV, Markdown, and other formats, which makes it super powerful. What else? So let's imagine a situation that we just want to count the devices in our tenant. We just remove the sites and it will calculate all the devices for a given site. And maybe in this case, I would prefer a single value. It doesn't give me much by default because it's just 45. Well, unless it's not 42, which would be nice, which would be a nice and funny touch, but it's not. And this is where you can edit your visualization. If you click on edit, you can add the style. Um, you can disable the auto resize value. You can make it bigger, or you can add devices in my tenant. And as you can see, it will now have a title override. You can select a different color and make it even in colors of your organization, which makes it pretty like even conditional formatting. Imagine that you want to create a scale, like if I have less than 45 devices, it should mark it in red. This is exactly what it will do. And this is exactly how it works in any other spreadsheet editor. What else? Let's go back to where we started. So enough with the formatting. Let's go back to the spreadsheet and let's bring back the site names, site name, agent name. And as you can see, if I like for me, it looks pretty easy because I'm just doing it almost daily. And what it took, it was just doing it regardless, having the Atera UI on the second monitor and seeing how the fields are called. And this helps a lot. So agent name, let's imagine I want to do the vendor, not the vendor name, just the vendor. This will be who made the laptop. You can also do model because we capture this. We can do serial number. As you can see, agent hardware, serial number. And if we run it, you will immediately see, sorry if like you have, tell me if you need to see it with a different magnification or it's fine. So it's a site name, agent name, who made it, is it like, what is it? So we have a Lenovo with a serial number, a real laptop. Most of the devices in here are virtual machines. Doesn't tell us much. Let's check, let's say, processor. For processor, I will just see the model, the clock speed, and core count. For memory, I want to know how much RAM do I have in each and every device. And then I want to know the space. So I'll type in the disk free space, total space, use space, and maybe free space percentage. And as soon as I hit run, you will immediately see that the duplicate started to get created because in some cases, like in here, you will see that there are two partitions basically. And here is where it gets interesting. There's a hardware, this hardware, I think, yeah, it's this field. Hardware disk drive is, yeah, I'm looking only for the master drives, so I will be choosing C, hitting run, and this should remove all the duplicates and make it look nice once again. which it did exactly because we don't care about much about the slave drives. We care about the master drives because more often than not, we'll try to do the, let's say, the OS upgrade, and there's not enough space because Windows requires, according to their help center article, they require up to 64 gigs for Windows 11 for the upgrade. However, that's in fact that it's still slightly less, but if you don't have enough space, the device will be considered as Windows 11, not ready for Windows 11, which is not true. And as you can see that we can highlight each and every field. I won't do this for saving us some time. Highlight that we are running out of space. If we're like having just 15% of free space, and we can do conditional formatting to highlight that it's less than 64 gigs, and this will highlight each and every laptop, which is good to go to be upgraded. However, it doesn't have enough space to do it, so it won't. On top of that, it will also allow you, for instance, you want to know, let's say, batteries. You want to understand uh, how your batteries are doing on top of it. So you can type in battery health, and as you can see, that most of the devices show empty values, but battery health for the laptop that we're using for our lab testing, battery health is 90%. This cute little fella was in the works for the past 3 years, so it's no surprise it's degraded by 10%. However, if I want to filter out just the laptops, what would I do? I can type in the battery health is more or equals 1, and I hit run, and what will be left with will be just laptops. Easy as that. Um, so as you can see, it's pretty flexible. It allows you to do such things at scale. And this is what you can do with each and every tile. Depending on the type of the tile you're using, let me demonstrate. For instance, if you're doing the bar chart, by default, if you try to edit this, it will not show you the values uh, because the value labels by default are disabled, which makes it absolutely unusable. You turn on the value labels, you'll see the numbers. So if you want to find something, as I said, right now, all the browsers with AI modes help you to find information pretty fast, but make sure you're looking for information. And we try to provide it, but again, it's sometimes there's no elegant way to display it. This is why we're doing a live session to share this knowledge. And things like this are pretty easy to find. I discovered it myself just by doing it. And if I want to recolor it, I can do this for sure. I can choose many things here, how the data is being presented, and still every bar in this chart, as soon as I finish editing, will be clickable and will give me the possibility to drill down. By the way, if you're doing this like the spreadsheet view, for instance, if you click on the OS, agent, ticket ID, and what have you, those fields are also clickable. They will get you to either a respective field or respective page. For instance, agent name field is tied to the agent page. So if you click on the agent name, it will take you to the agent page. Ticket ID is tied to the ticket page. So it will take you straight to the tickets. So this is how you do it. So as you can see, like many tiles of different kinds, you can color, filter them in different ways. I have a single value which has a drill down capabilities. This is what we covered. Let's talk about filters. A very, very common uh, question is that, oh, I'm adding tiles to the dashboard. And if I just duplicate the tile at the very bottom of the dashboard, I will demonstrate. The customer name, if I click edit, as you can see, the copy inherited the if selecting any value in the filter will affect the newly added tile. Which is not always the case. If you're creating something from scratch, this tile will be by default not affected by filter selection. So as you can see, field to filter means that if I select a filter, which tiles should it update? Sometimes you need to keep an ultimate value across all your sites intact, and you need to update all the rest of the tiles. Imagine you need to still know how many devices you have in your tenant, but know dynamically side by side which site has how many devices, but still know the total in a separate window just for the bigger picture. So this is exactly how you do it. In the settings of each and every filter, you will find the control, which is extremely powerful, in my opinion. Pro tip number, I don't know, 4, 5, 6. I lost count, but tag list, checkboxes, button group, all those are amazing. But tag list and advanced are the most flexible ones. Tag list has a very cool feature that it's a drop-down menu with checkboxes with ability to multi-select values. And the advanced gives you the ability to create a logical filter with the ability to create masks. By masks, I mean, let's say I have the New York that I is not New York specifically, but contains NY. And when I type NY and hit tab, and as you can see, it started to be showcased in pink. And basically everything that contains NY will be filtered. And this is exactly what will be left on the dashboard. This is the beauty of those filters. Saving the filter values. So as you can see, this is something that is not like it's, let's say, Looker BI specifics. Configure default value. This field will tell you with which value should this specific filter be loaded when you are saving the dashboard. And on the next load, when you exit Atera, you go elsewhere, you go home, you put the laptop in the bag and open the Atera the next day, with which value should it be loaded back up. This is exactly where you do it. In tiles to update, as I said, you can select which filter. Will a specific filter affect all the tiles or selected ones? Because in certain cases, you will see the empty values, and I encourage you to double check this. What else? In the filter, in the settings function, you can see that the report will run a refresh on load. You can create separate time zones for each and every tile, which is extremely helpful if you're working with customers or sites across the globe. And you can set the refresh cadence, and you can create async behavior, which can be 1 hour, 1 minute. I do not encourage you to do 1 second because it might be an overkill, and might be it's not useful at all because the uptick of the data retrieval for certain values might not be as frequent as it might seem. So this is something that I would encourage you to avoid. And as you can see, like with which settings should the filters be preloaded. And what else? What else? And also unconventional ways to separate the data in the report. You can use the text field to create sections in the report. One of the pro tips from our enablement team, so to separate the group of tiles if you're combining several data sets, like a dashboard to rule them all, basically. And this is exactly how you use it, because here, as you can see, I just added how to use the report itself. And basically, same goes out to each and every report. What else? So when you're trying to schedule delivery to this report, first of all, you need to hit save. And as soon as it's saved, you can schedule delivery. When you see this, clicked elsewhere. So when you preload the report with certain settings, you can send it daily, you can send it on a specific days and months, you can send it to whichever amount of people your heart desires. As I said, you can preload it with certain filters. So if you're making a site-specific or customer-specific report, you can definitely do that. And advanced options, you can include a nice message like, hi, here's your daily report. And delivery time zones should be taken into effect. And very important, to fit page to dashboard and expand tables to show all rows. Why is that? Because one of the export formats is PDF, and PDF does, when it's like in printable mode, it doesn't have a scroll bar, so there will be no way to actually scroll down. It's a fixed size tile, so it's probably best practice um, um, to basically expand it so it's printable, usable, and doesn't require any further um, actions. What else? One of the things that confuses some people, and I would like you to understand, because this is in basically an iframe inside Atera, because we fetch this information. So as you can see, when I create a report, uh, this is like not a bug. It's just this is how this API call works. When you create a report, it will be shown just to you. Your colleagues, to see the report, they need to refresh the browser window. This is something that I want you to remember. And one more thing. So if you're happy with what you're having with the dashboard, but you want to add something new, as I said, you can add whichever tile. Let's imagine I'm trying to do a quick security assessment, or maybe like a software assessment of any kind. I add a visualization. I still add the devices. I will do the agent name. Again, I don't care about the site because the site is in the filters. And then I'm going for, let's say, specific software, or maybe security software. Let's do the software name, publisher, status version, installation date, and the available version. Maybe I want to see at scale if I can fetch some software or maybe install an update. And not to overload it, I will do I will go to the software section, and software name contains Adobe. And I will create a mask just to see only Adobe related products. And this will allow you to see the variety of devices and what they're having, because you may see the variety of builds, and maybe you want to can go to, let's imagine you want to do the software inventory. The software version is not the most recent one, apparently. Let's scroll down to the very bottom of the list, which is not the most recent one. And you can filter this out. So basically, you can fetch this information. If this is not enough, one of the coolest features in analytical reports that I still haven't told you, but I think I should, account custom fields. Whichever custom fields you are creating, and on our top subscription, Superpower and Enterprise, we also allow script-based custom fields. So basically, if you can return like a Boolean or numeric value for a certain parameter from your machine, you can create an agent, as custom script-based custom field for the agent. For instance, like network bandwidth or the device GPU, the battery check. You can add this as a column, and this data will be fetched. So as you can see, so there was no battery check. The battery is checked on my laptop. So the battery check is it present or not? And basically in the background, this is a script-based custom field, which is in a nutshell is a PowerShell script. And you can fetch your account custom fields, especially it's available for tickets. And for instance, like if you're also considering like owning the AI Copilot that we're having, I don't know, if we would have been working with tickets, you can create a custom field for the tickets, which will list the actions taken by a technician. You can also fetch them to the report. For MSPs, this means that you can stop wasting time on explaining the complexity of each and every ticket to your customer each and every month, because probably you charge them by hour, or they're buying block hour contracts, and they're saying why they have spent so many hours and still not all of the tickets have been resolved. To justify the complexity, this is one of the creative ways how to use it. Also, it opens the possibilities to see the potential upgrades. I'm not saying about the RAM modules, about the SSDs. I know it's all the rage right now out there in the internet because the prices are skyrocketing. Hopefully, it will get better eventually, but good luck to each and every one of us who is trying to upgrade their PC in 2025. But if you have an offer from your local distro, you have a promotion on specific parts, maybe you want to upgrade the batteries, maybe something that is running out of is close to end of the life cycle. This is exactly where you can build something that will give you an upper hand when you're talking to your customer, to your peers inside the company, to your upper management, to justify that you're doing your job, you do it well. And this is exactly what it's all about. Okay. The last but not least, something that I wanted you to also be aware of. Let me unselect all the software related things and also remove the filters. So cybersecurity is very important. So for software security, we also allow the anti-spyware name and status, antivirus, firewall. If it's applicable, we also track BitLocker status, BitLocker status name, and you can get the information about it. And this, for those of you who belong to the MSP world, this will give you extreme capability to identify devices who you should, or like which should be charged for having this or that cybersecurity product, but apparently they don't have it, and you cannot charge for them. They're not invoiced, and you're losing money um, today, and you can stop doing it, which is extremely nice. And yeah, so basically the list goes on. We can get into more specifics, but I wanted you to, instead of doing the high level demo, you can do this, you can do that. I wanted to demonstrate several real world use cases as was advertised, so you can get an understanding how you can put it to good use, how you can utilize Atera's analytical reports, and most importantly, what makes it different from operational reports and what opportunities lie ahead. I would encourage you to, there's on the top right corner to request a demo if you're interested to get a free trial. It's absolutely like at no cost. You can get a free trial of a higher plan to understand if it's something worth considering. It's not a huge upgrade from tier 2 to tier 3. Not selling you anything, but it can be easily justifiable, and those reports will give you a solid advantage if you do just one step up in your subscription, because they open a whole another tool inside Atera for you to utilize today and tomorrow and many months after this. Okay, I'm switching to the Q&A section and checking the questions in the chat. So Ilya asked the question, are the operational reports ever going to be actually sent to the email, not as a link if scheduled? So if they're sent as a link as scheduled, probably it's because they were generated in the async mode because of the amount of rows that they contain. And this is done to prevent the timeout of the request, as far as I'm concerned, to allow you to have more rows in the export. But from what I know internally, there are talks to convert the operational reports to the Looker engine, so they will be like basically reproduced in the same way. And there are several improvements planned to the for the next year, which I cannot disclose just today, but I'm pretty sure that we will have something to entertain you in 2026. Because our product planning is coming, and this is something that we will be discussing, because as I said at the very beginning, if you track something, you need a place to measure it and be able to send it to your peers so they can understand the value. Okay, next question. Matthias, I'm trying to create a dashboard for support ticket overview, like open tickets, tickets waiting for customer reply, last tickets for customer XYZ. I get the overview working, but I cannot make the URL clickable. Do you know if that is possible? The URL for the ticket. So for just before we go, let's do the quick visualization. I'll show you the tickets data set. So I would do the ticket title. Oops, sorry, made a typo. And ticket ID. In the ticket section, you will find the ticket ID. You can click run. By the way, you can see this yellow ribbon because more likely than not, you have more than 500 tickets in your help desk. You can increase it to 5,000. It's the UI limitation from Looker. When you're exporting, it can be whatever, whichever number of rows. Doesn't really matter. Let's do the ticket ID. I'm filtering from like the descending in the descending order. Okay, let's click on the ticket ID. Just give me a second. Okay, that's an interesting one. Let me hit save. Yeah, you need to go from the builder, and when the tile is done, you can get straight to the ticket 6621 as described here. Yeah, and this probably addresses your question. Guys, I would love to, okay, I would love to have a couple more questions. We have a couple of minutes left. Um, and I would love to see in the comments, so put like, just type in the word useful or I knew it all, just to make sure that the level of how deep we're covering this topic today is enough, or you want more, maybe an extra session, more in-depth. Maybe we can create something on user voice. I can create a thread for all of us, and we can actually get together and study more use cases, do something more complex, more focused, maybe just grab one use case per session and do this type of workshops in small groups so we can learn together and maybe do some body doubling sessions, because I think it would be a nice idea, because this product is amazing. However, tackling this alone, trust me, I panicked myself. So, okay, Nathan said useful. Okay, Matthias said thank you. Guys, whoever is still here, yeah, useful. Thank you so much. And as I said, it was useful. Finally managed to count overall device count and filter the newly added ones in the same view. Ilya, amazing. Happy for you. And I hope that it just gets better and uphill from here. So as I said, you can reach out to us on our community. If you don't know where to find it, it's community.atera.com. I'm managing it. Send me DMs, send me like open threads. I try to respond to the best of my knowledge. It takes some time to load. Yeah, there it is. As I see, I'm posting events about the upcoming webinars. Somehow okay. And also, like, there are like release notes and everything that you might find that is useful here. And by the way, before we move away, something that I want to tell you that has been released, we just didn't announce it for tickets specifically. Attachment preview has now been made available. So let me demonstrate. I just uploaded a PDF. Now, when I hit send, now it's an attachment. If I click on it, now you have the preview window, a small but meaningful quality of life improvement. So it's a Figma prototype in the PDF format, so you can scroll, and it supports multi-page PDF, Excels, and doc files. You don't have to download the documents anymore. It's a small but meaningful one. Okay, do we get a lifetime discount on the additional subscription for our attendance on the webinar? Amazing question. This is something that I'm not covering, as I do not belong to sales. And this is something that I would encourage you to discuss with your salesperson, but I appreciate the question. Okay, guys, that is everything that I had to share for today. As I said, recording will be sent to you. I will also post it on user voice just to make sure everybody can have access to it. It wasn't an experiment to inform you directly from user voice, just to make you sure it's very focused group, very dedicated. You upvoted for a certain feature, and we wanted to show you that it's our, let's say, effort to change how we treat this resource. And I encourage you to upvote for the ideas. Now is the best time to bump up the ideas which exist in user voice to make the 2026 more meaningful to each and every one of you. With that being said, that was everything I had for you today. My name is Dima, and see you on the next one. Thank you so much, guys. I appreciate your time. Have a great one. Bye-bye.